Hello everyone and welcome to the Toothless YouTube series. So this is this wonderful opportunity that comes sometimes in some people's lives when they lose a tooth and then it looks ridiculous. But what we thought is, well, obviously I'm gonna get that fixed hopefully very soon. But before that happens, there is gonna be some time, and we thought that, this is a good opportunity to record and share the joys of being a pirate with you. So enjoy.
But we're not going to be talking about the tooth for the whole video. You do look very pretty though.
Thank you.
And I like when you assume it, because then it's like, fuck yeah, who cares? I'm a pirate.
Well, there's no other way to do it. I mean, the alternative is being. Aha, yeah, it's great.
But actually this video is about Michal. So it's going to be all attention on you.
Great.
So would you like me to introduce the topic? Yeah. Okay, it's going to be from my perspective, so correct me if anything is wrong.
I trust your perspective.
Thanks.
Occasionally.
So Michal has been going through a hard... I'm sorry, I'm just laughing now because of this introduction, but...
That's
I
the
don't
intention.
mean to be offensive or
it's
anything to
it's
you.
not offensive. Please laugh. I'm laughing at myself. That's why I don't try not to look much into the camera, because I see this face and I'm like, oh my god.
Even to the screen.
Yeah.
I'm looking there and I look at you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Michal has been going through a little bit of a challenging time lately with his creativity and feeling a little bit stuck, and that's reflecting on his work and the work we do together and our relationship as well, especially because I am going through a very creative phase in my life, and Michal is happy for me but also feeling like it creates contrast with his own experience, which is not really feeling aligned with his creativity, and that now started to shift lately. So it's what you were saying today, that the darkest phase is over, so we can talk a little bit about the whole process, and I'm gonna be asking you some questions for you to answer.
Sounds good. I'm happy to share.
So how are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very present. I think this joyful, funny introduction helped me just to kind of land and shake off what we've been talking about before as we were walking here, and just really arrive to this space and let go of the previous things. I'm feeling very there's some excitement as well, because I understand that for me it's really helpful to be able to share with someone and go through this process with someone asking questions and guiding me through it and helping me process what is happening. And because I'm still going through this very weird thing inside of me, I feel it's a very good opportunity for me. So I feel like you're really giving me a gift, and I'm very grateful. And I'm also very happy to share. So usually this kind of situations when we record the video make me feel present and alive, and also I'm noticing that I'm doing a little bit of I speak differently because the air comes through the tooth in a weird way.
Through the tooth, through the lack of it.
Through the gap. So that also is quite funny. So that's how I'm feeling. How about you?
Feeling connected to you right now.
Also.
Feeling grateful that you're sharing about this. Feeling lots of love for you. And feeling excited to be interviewing you. It's it feels like safe to be behind like the interviewer role. And also amused still looking at the lack of tooth, because I'm sorry, it's just so funny.
I totally understand.
Okay, so maybe you can talk a little bit about how this started for you, this process, and how you noticed that it was starting for you.
That's a very good question, actually. I think actually this process was very steady, gradual process going kind of on for a long time. I think maybe even a year or two, or I don't know. But I think essentially maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I went for this bicycle trip just for 3 days to another island that's very close. And I think it was a very strange trip in a sense that usually what happens to me in this kind of adventures is that I get this reset, clarity, new insights, new energy, and I come back with like a lot of clarity and energy, and I know what to do, and everything is amazing. And this time it didn't happen. And actually after the trip I had like this big emotional crash. Yeah, I think just this trip basically acted as some kind of a catalyst, like a tipping point. It basically, I was present for 3 days pedaling on a bike and just really being with this feeling, and I was not thinking about work and anything else apart from, pushing the bike and then appreciating the beautiful places I've been to and having good conversations with a friend. Yeah, and as I come back, I think this just unlocked something, and I was, not expecting insights and clarity, but kind of. That's what usually happened, and this time it was just like, take all this shit coming my way. Like, wow, it was a bit overwhelming. So yeah, so I went into some very dark places inside of me, like really questioning, what the fuck am I doing, with my life? Is this what are the kind of paths that I'm following? Are they worth my time and energy? Am I just wasting my life? And it was weird because on one level, on like a very deeper level, I know that it's not true. Like, it's not as straightforward, like I'm wasting my life. No, like, I love the place where I live. I'm so happy I'm here. I'm so grateful for all the adventures and everything that happened, and I'm happy with the work I'm doing. It's a job I enjoy, and it helps people, and it's good. So there's like lots of good things, but also that I can feel like this really weird dark thing, and like I just feel, okay, something needs to change. But and that's a very painful process that I'm still going through, like figuring out what needs to change and how, and actually changing it. So yeah, I think it was a very long process, but like only I got awareness of it kind of recently, and it just hit me with a stick in the face. Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting for me to hear, because I wasn't really. I mean, I noticed that it was when you went on this trip and then came back, and you were like different than you were before. I mean, I think I saw it already before you went, like a beginning of it. But when you came back, you were really like, wow, this trip just put everything in perspective for me. And I guess this, yeah, changes because we've been in this island for a year and over a year, and you never slept anywhere else, and now you were camping, and you were with a friend that
Yeah.
you hadn't seen in a long time on a different place with a different energy. So I can only imagine. And like leaving your routines for those 3 days. And I think something that I'm curious about is how it's changing for you right now, because recently there's been a shift. So how did this happen, and what became different?
I can, like, when I look back at those few weeks, yeah, it feels like there were some like very important moments that maybe I even didn't acknowledge. Some of them I did, some I didn't, but there were almost like kind of periods of things. So like, yeah, now in hindsight I can look back at this process and try to see those different stages. So like the first was just this, like, the beginning, so where all the tension rises and I'm just realizing, wow, there's actually some shit going on inside of me and I don't know what's happening and what is it, and kind of, part of me doesn't really want to look and part of me knows that I need to look, and parts of me really feels like looking because I feel that this has been there for a long time and I want to clean this up, but I'm only now realizing that it's really there. Like it's now in my awareness, and so I think the very first part was like getting to the point where I said to myself, and then I said, I think, to you or to even like shared with some friends that okay, I'm going through some weird phase, and I'm still feeling good with myself. I was like, it wasn't this kind of identity crisis where I just like think of suicide or just like end up watching films or just like sit in a dark room all day. It was nothing like that. I was doing my things. I was exercising, I was going on walks, I was doing kind of the work stuff, but still, like, I would wake up almost every night. I couldn't really sleep and I would go to like very dark places, questioning the kind of work I do, the relationship I have with you, the relationship I have with myself, some like forks in the path of my life that I could have taken and maybe I should have taken them and I haven't, and it's a waste of life. And just feeling very stuck. I think this it was this maybe the kind of the first part was this insight that fucking hell, I'm stuck. Like, I'm really stuck, and I'm a person that really sees freedom as like the most important need I have, and feeling stuck is maybe my worst fear. So it really feels dark for me, this stuckness. And what amplified it is seeing you being in the exact opposite. I mean, this happens kind of often for us in different areas of life, that one feels the opposite of the other, but this time it really was the case also, and it amplified it for me because I had also this contrast, like, wow, you're growing, you're thriving, you're finding new ways to express yourself, you're unlocking so many things that seemed to be keeping you stuck for a long time, and you're having a great time and it's working for you and you're happy, and I'm happy for you. Like, genuinely, I want you to thrive, but part of me is also jealous in a way. Like, not that I don't want you to experience this, but I also would like to experience this, and why am I not, and what's wrong with me? So yeah, it's maybe not jealousy, but it's just like a mirror. I guess we know each other so well that we work as mirrors, and you point this thing to me and I'm like, yeah, like, okay, I am stuck, I am really stuck, and I don't know why, because on the surface everything is fine. I'm in a great place, I'm in a great relationship with a great person. That's you. I'm happy, I'm healthy, I have a great community here. It's an island where COVID is not really that big of a deal, so we're meeting friends. Like, so many needs of mine are met. So why do I feel stuck? It makes no sense. Am I ungrateful? Am I like just But no, I don't feel it's that. Like, I feel grateful for, I acknowledge all these amazing things that I have in my life, but it feels like something important is missing, and it's like, finally I'm understanding that something is missing. So that was the first part, and then I guess the second part is maybe figuring out what is missing. And I think I was lucky in a way that I had some, so I just came back to work after this trip, and I had some conversations with some people scheduled, and it was interesting combination, because in this 1 week that this kind of dark part was really like starting to surface, I had 3 very powerful conversations. One was with a friend, a person that I know well, and 2 were with people that I don't know. Like with one I exchanged few messages, and with one we participated on a call together, but we were not in one-on-one situation even once. And those conversations really helped me process things, and just people were very interested and asking questions, and also it was good for me to talk with someone that I'm not so used to talk with. So it changed. I've seen different perspectives, people asking unexpected questions for me, which triggered different kinds of thought patterns. So this was very useful. Then I had this one very powerful conversation with you about our relationship when we were sitting just not far from here actually, and it felt like wow, it was like such a beautiful moment, like really powerful. Like I was like I mean, you've been there, so it was very strong. So those kind of moments, I think they really, like, I don't know what they did, but they did move the energy inside. So like things started, like there was not anymore the stuckness, but something started to move. But it was very confusing and also painful, and I still was feeling like crap, or not like crap, I was feeling great, but also having all these very profound doubts about myself and my life and what I'm doing. So that was the kind of next part. And then I don't know, like just I was digging into it, I was journaling more, going into it myself, really trying to be with it, going for walks, trying to listen to different podcasts, try something new, do something, just understand what's happening and be with myself, meditate, do yoga, whatever works. And and I think eventually I got to the point where I think I'm noticing that I just miss some parts of me, and this part of me, the work part, I call it entrepreneur part of me, but it's not very good name. I feel it lacks the like, it doesn't feel like the right name, but for a lack of better name, let's call it that, has been kind of taking over all the other parts. So like even if the other parts have space there, they're kind of coerced to exist on the rules of that particular character. And I don't really like this guy. Like, I mean, I accept him as a part of me, and I think it has very useful qualities, but if it's just this, then that's not right for me. So I think this is what I was noticing through all these conversations and through those moments. And and just seeing you every day, like thriving, and just seeing myself not being in this flow and just going through this weird state. And then I guess now, like, it's made, I don't know, it's final state, it feels like it's something recently shifted, where I kind of named maybe the two parts that I missed the most. I literally made one day, it was like 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. I made a list of all the parts that make me, that I could think of, apart from this entrepreneur person, and like what am I, like what's inside of me, what are those parts. And then I thought, what are the parts that really need to get more space right now, that are very important for me. And I guess then that brought me some clarity that okay, those are the things I should maybe make more space right now, or not maybe, I need to, it's vital for me if I want to make a change.
I really like this. So what are those parts, those two ones?
It feels weird because I feel like a bit vulnerable to share this.
You don't have to if you don't want to.
No, it's okay. I think
Yeah.
it's good. It's good to put it out there. But I'm just, what I'm expressing is, it feels unexpected, that it feels challenging for me to share. Like, because like I don't normally feel this way. Wow.
You can tell me just like in my ear.
Wow, this is very new. Wow, we're going somewhere interesting. Thank you for
You're
taking
doing
the lead.
great. Thank you so much.
No, so okay, so those two parts, it's one of them, I call this part the artist, and this is basically the part of me that creates art. This is my life. I started being a part of the theater when I was 1 year old. I was always involved in theater, and then I studied film and theater, and then my kind of biggest creative peak was back at the kind of end of university, and a bit later when I was working on some amazing creative artistic projects that I loved, and that was like really a big focus of my life. And I was working also, and it was a work that I didn't love, but I enjoyed it, so it was not like my passion, but it was bringing money, and I had a good time, and it felt like a good thing to do. And I didn't work that much, and then I had time for art and creativity, and it was great. Obviously now I think of it that it was all perfect, but probably if I go back then, of course, it wasn't. So I'm aware of that. But yeah, I really realized that I miss art as a vehicle for expressing ideas. I think, yeah, because right now the kind of our business requires creativity, so it's not like I can't be creative. I am creative, I'm using creativity, but I feel that I enjoy writing non-fiction, personal development content, but I'm not that person. Like, I can be this person sometimes, and there's a part of me that enjoys it, but I don't know. It feels like there are some topics or some issues that I just cannot talk about in that way. It's just not my medium for expression. It just doesn't work very well, and I miss art for that, because in art language I was really feeling very fluent and very free. Yeah, I think this is maybe it. Like if I have to write an article for our blog or for Medium, it doesn't feel free. I kind of feel freer with documenting stuff, and I think this comes easy for me to share about my experience.
What do you mean with documenting stuff?
Like for example, the white log, or like when I was having my digital journal, just writing about my experience, some projects I'm doing, I'm testing this, and writing it, almost narrating it, not as an argument that I'm trying to give you 3 tips for something, or like do a deep dive into an issue, but just kind of share a process that I'm going through with an experiment or with a project or something. How are we building a community in Pico? This is great. I love sharing this, and it feels free because I'm just saying this happened, this happened, this happens, this happens. That's why. This is the outcome. It's kind of.
Does this make this artist side of you happy? Is this the kind of stuff he wants to do?
No, I think this is a different part, and those parts can coexist, but I don't see it as art really. This is different. But in this particular kind of writing, let's say, I feel similar freedom that I feel in art somehow. But yeah, so I really miss that. There are some issues I would like to share about, and I would like to do that through the medium of immersive theater and performance art and plays, essentially, and playwriting, because I think this is kind of the kind of thing I'm somehow more attracted to. I love theater, maybe even film a little bit, but I also, like there are, I got a bit burnt on video editing, and I don't want to go back there. So if I would have an editor next to me, then maybe, but no, I don't want to edit complicated
And what
stuff.
is the other part?
The other part is sailing part. This is something that is, I feel like we had this conversation so many times over this 4 years, but basically, it's kind of funny. Like, when we started doing business, it was just after I spent 5-6 weeks at sea, and I did my another level of qualification, and I did trips, and then I was a captain on 2 trips with friends. You were on one of them. It was great. So I could really feel like, this could be my life now. I have the experience. I love it. I'm ready to go to the end of the world. And somehow we ended up doing business. And basically, I mean, the idea was that we're gonna find a way to make passive income. That right? That's kind of where
That
we
was our
started.
goal. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, very 4-hour work week inspired type of thought. But yeah, location independent business, work for ourselves, do something we love, travel the world. Great dream to have. And it seemed very fitting with the sailing. And basically, the idea was, let's spend our savings on living and on traveling as we build this business, and the sailing will come in the process. In a year, in a two, we're gonna already have the money and the business will be going, and I'll be able to sail. And then guess what? Since then, I haven't sailed because it's 4 years. So yeah, it was just never the right time. There was never really money on the. There was not. Yeah, it was either. It was always
Always
either or.
something. Yeah.
It was either no money, so can't really go because we're still kind of living from month to month, and we need to do a launch, we need to put a product, we need to write an article and pay for the bills and our travels and all of that. And we had a great time traveling, so I don't regret that. It was a great opportunity to see the world, but it left zero space for sailing. And whenever we were a bit more like comfortable with money, there was no time because there's a launch, there is a thing we deliver, there is this workshops, there is something. So there was just never. Sorry, I just accidentally hit you. I tend to move a lot when I'm
No,
like.
it was like the seat. It moved, so I almost fell. No worries.
Don't lose your teeth. Great joke.
But you were saying about there was never time, and then whenever we had more money, there was always something we had to do.
Yeah. So basically, this didn't happen, and I live next to an ocean. It's amazing because I get to see the ocean and I'm very connected with it. But it's also painful because every time I see a sailboat, and this is quite often, I just want to be on that sailboat. And this is really a part of me that's so present and like so alive, and it gets. There's periods that it's really like almost painful, this longing for being at sea. It's almost like this romantic, sailing idea, but it is like, I mean, if you have sailed, you probably, like most people, understand what I mean. It's just like no other experience, and it's just hard to. Yeah, like when you sail it, you sing about all the shanties about going back to land because it's hard and the storm and all this stuff. But then the second you come on land, you're asking when is the next trip because you want to go back, and it's kind of one of those things.
So now that you figured out these two parts, so I asked you about like what was the moment of transition, and you mentioned that it was this night when you were really introspecting and you realize that these two sides of yourself are really wanting to come more to the surface, and this kind of triggered this change, right? So what's been happening since then, and what are like your next steps?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the very interesting insight that came up for me was that once I figured that out, it kind of became even more difficult, or it became difficult in a different way, because it took me a moment to get to that point, but I realized that there's a lot of fear connected to those things, and basically the fear that that it's just not gonna happen, like for many reasons, like with art, for example, that I haven't really been practicing expressing myself in this artistic way for a long time. I haven't written a play in 4 years. I haven't staged a performance even for more years. I wrote some poems here and there, but it was really just like kind of, and it was very early on. And then, so maybe, 3 years ago, I was writing a few poems, or like this more creative, artsy expressions of myself, but I don't anymore, or very rarely. Like it's not a practice that I have. So basically, part of me is afraid that, like I have no skill anymore. Like I really. Who am I to say that I can do this, and is this stupid? Like I have a business that is growing. Okay, it's growing at a slow pace, but it's growing every year. Maybe it's better to continue. Am I just like crazy? Um, yeah, and I guess I'm just afraid that I'm not good enough to do this life. Like this life has passed, and then there's arguments that I give myself to kind of support this thesis. Like, oh, now I'm in Pico, so to stage an immersive performance, I don't really have maybe an audience or enough actors or performance to do it with. Back when I was living in cities, it was easier, but now it's so hard. Which is not even true, but I tell myself those stories. So yeah, basically now there's a part of me that just tries to sabotage this part, giving myself proof by creating the stories that this is not something I should do, and just reinforcing this fear, right? And with sailing is the same thing. Uh, you know, um, I haven't sailed in so much time. I never sailed in English. This is, I always sailed in Polish language, apart from this 1 week with you and some other people, good friends. So I lack, I don't have English vocabulary for sailing. I know all those stuff in Polish, but still, I would rather go in an international crew for many reasons. So it feels like, I need to learn how to sail again, and I need to learn how to sail in English, which it's not that hard, but the thing is, on a sailboat everything has its own name, so you immediately are exposed to a lot of vocabulary which is completely new, and it's all kind of important. So
And
yeah.
I'm curious, okay, so these are the parts, the voices that are telling you why you can't do this. But I also see there's a lot of positivity in you lately, to move through it, and just this creativity opening. You wrote this little scene for a play a few days ago, and you hadn't done that in such a long time. So what is waking up? How is this part manifesting right now? And also, how would you like it to be more there?
I think the bottom line is that I think I just know this type of fear, and I know it's the kind of fear that is pointing me towards the exact direction I should go. And I've had these experiences in the past. There were things that I wanted to do, and I was so afraid. I mean, what I'm experiencing now is not close, but there was maybe one super strong moment or two or three, I don't know, a few moments, I do know, but yeah, there were a few moments in my life that I felt so much fear, but it was this kind of fear that really felt like this is the thing I need to do. I'm feeling a lot of fear, and that's precisely why I need to do it. And it's not fear as a protection mechanism that's healthy, that I shouldn't touch put my hand into an oven because I'm gonna burn myself, but it was more no, this is the challenge I need right now, precisely. And I think now I'm feeling kind of the same. I guess I can identify somehow, I'm not sure, it's not even that I went deep into that, but I can feel that this is that kind of fear, and I know that the way to deal with it is to do it, and if I do it, the feeling of conquering it and going through is the best thing in the world. So, and I've done that in the past numerous times. So, and what's the funny part? That kind of makes it easy, because I know I will do it. The moment I realized it's this kind of fear, it on one hand it brings anxiety and tension and more fear because it's strong. And I know, okay, this is the kind of fear that's not pleasant at all to deal with, and it's strong and it's deep and it's gonna be there for a long time because it's something that's really important for me. But in the same time, it's it's that fear, that particular one. Okay, I'm gonna do it then. And so basically, once I realized that, I knew that it's just gonna happen. It's, I mean, okay, I don't know, maybe I'll die tomorrow, but okay, now I know this is my path, and I'm just gonna put a lot of energy to make that happen. And there's still, new obstacles that I create in my head, like, oh, maybe I don't have time, I'm gonna get distracted, doubting myself, oh, but there's still work. Do I really have space for that? How can I do that? But those are easier to overcome. They don't feel like such big obstacles. It's like, yeah, well, yeah, I just need to practice, and to practice I just need to write, and okay, I'm gonna write. But it's not also about writing, it's also I need to experience beautiful moments that give me this kind of creative energy that I can then transform into place. And because that's, I know how I work in that sense, because I've been there, that was my life for many years. And and I still have, yeah, I remember one part of the process of this, like, reconnecting with this energy that really helped me. Actually, it was very strong. Yeah, now I'm noticing, like, some of those things, they felt very strong in the moment, but I almost forgot, like, I almost didn't realize that it was a very powerful moment. It's very interesting. But sometimes I have, so basically I have, there's some pieces of work, artistic and not, that I created, that I have a very strong feeling or sentiment to. So it's not even that, I look at it and I don't think about it like, oh, this could have been better. I mean, I know that, of course, it could have been better and all of that, but that's irrelevant. I look at those few particular pieces because they connect me back to the kind of energy that I was channeling as I was creating them. So it's almost like time machine for me, it's or dimension machine. Like, I read this text, I watch this video, and I'm instantly back in that particular moment of time when I was feeling this energy that allowed me to put it out there. And this is so powerful because it's very, like, it brings me this beautiful energy. I get it from there, like, it's, I created this piece for myself, like, in the future, like, no, you can do this, this is beautiful, this is a beautiful moment. That's how you are when you are experiencing a beautiful moment. It was back then, remember? Yeah, I do remember. And I guess it gives me confidence that, okay, I could have created that, so probably I can still create it. And I know that it's okay, there's a part of skill and practice which I don't have right now, and I need to practice to deliver high quality artwork. I understand that part. But like, yeah, it's like, it gives me faith in myself that, okay, no, it's actually quite simple. Go experience beautiful moments, connect with this energy, and channel it through art. Like, it's really that simple. It's about those moments of connection, and connection with other people, with myself, with the world, the universe, the beauty of life, and whatever exists. And I can do that at any time. Like, there's no excuses. Even if I'm tired and overworked and, doing whatever, I can do that. I can create this moment at any time. And it's like, okay. And if that moment, so I can create it at any time, and this moment is a fuel, so it kind of means like, okay, I can create my fuel for creative expression and art anytime I want. It just requires time and some intention, or some other, techniques that I have for creating these types of situations that facilitate this state. And then I just need to time to practice. This is very easy. Like, it doesn't feel hard. It's a very specific recipe that it worked. I don't, maybe it doesn't work anymore, but then, I wrote this one scene, and it was this, I just channeled one of these beautiful moments of connection, and this came out, and it was effortless. and it was not the most amazing thing I ever written, but it felt like it's like it's a piece of art that I've created, and maybe it's crap art, but crap art, but but it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is. What matters is I made this. And a, a most amazing thing that happened a bit later, like few days through this process, which was actually very soothing, I think, and healing. I don't think I fully processed it yet. I am still integrating it. Like, intellectually I kind of get it, but I don't get it inside of me yet. Is that th- maybe or not maybe, like, I needed this entrepreneur domination to learn some of the lessons that I have learned in this journey that I can now transfer to art. And if I would have just pursued this artistic career or sailing career, I mean, fuck knows what would happen, right? It's a fork in the life and we could never predict. But I know that those skills, some of very specific skills I've learned as an entrepreneur building my own business with you, is something directly transferable to art. And it's in fact, I can identify the ingredients and skills that I didn't have 4 years ago, 5 years ago, at the peak of my creativity, which really restricted what I could have created. Which is interesting to see, because it's almost like I need the entrepreneur so the artist can thrive. So really the only shift I need to do is to make it in that way, because before it was the artist is there so the entrepreneur can thrive. But it's the other way. No, the entrepreneur is useful. It's like, it's not the Joker card, but it's like, it's, a king in the deck. It's a very good card. You should keep it. It's useful. Don't bin it. But there's other cards that you also need. And if it's just this one, then no, that doesn't work. So this was soothing, because it made me realize, okay, I didn't waste 4 years. I just went on a detour to acquire some skills that I can now apply. And one of the skills, for example, is just the idea of minimum viable product, shipping stuff. Like, fucking hell, like, I'm just such a perfectionist, and when it came to art, I had ridiculous amount of ideas that were just like so gigantic. And everything I wanted to do just was becoming this mega project that was undeliverable. Like, now when I look at those, like, I made some of these anyway, which is like still like took monumental amount of energy and work. And for sure, I mean, it's good because it happened, but it was not as effective as delivering something, iterating, and then creating something better, and then iterating and doing it again. So, and building in public, just putting stuff out there. So basically, I've seen this. I had this reflection because I wrote this scene for a play. I mean, for a play, it's just a scene. There is no play. It's just a scene. But I wrote this scene, and my first instinct now was publish it, give it people for feedback. Maybe nobody will read, maybe nobody will give a shit. It doesn't matter. It's now in public domain, which means it's a body of work. It's not on my computer or in my journal. It exists. And I didn't get feedback, which is kind of...
I gave you feedback.
You gave me feedback. That's true. That's not... Yeah. But I didn't get feedback from random people from the internet, which is totally fine. But just the act of putting it out there made me feel, okay, that's good.
I love this.
I'm
like
doing the right
applying
thing,
this shipping and learning these lessons from the entrepreneur and using them for the artist. And I can feel like this power and this energy radiating out of you as you talk about this, and I'm so happy to see that. So yeah, thank you for sharing this. There's some things there that I wasn't aware of yet. And I feel like it seems like they're coming up for you right now as well, some of them. maybe this is a good moment to stop. How do you feel?
I feel good. Yeah, I feel it was healthy. I see also the timestamp. It's like, wow, a long deep dive. Let's see if you made it all the way to here. Well done. We love you. And I bet it's for the tools. No,
For the tools.
it's for the tools. I know. I get it. It's all right. Yeah, I don't know. I think. Yeah, just I think the only thing that I have left to say is that now really the challenge for me is to make space for the sailor and make space for the artist. And now I was talking about the artist for mostly, but the sailor part, like, I need to make it happen. I need to go on a freaking boat ASAP, like.
When you're going, it's decided. You're taking care
And
of
I
it.
think so. I think it's decided, and it wasn't for all these years. Like, I don't have the boat. I haven't really started the process of looking, but I know I'm in the right. Like, my timing is right. My geographical location is right. My destination is.
Everything's right.
So it's basic, and I can do it. Like, worst case scenario is I'm gonna miss one of the workshops that I'm supposed to deliver with you, and I wouldn't like that because I love those workshops, but I know that you can deliver it, and hopefully that's not even gonna happen because I can navigate. But of course, when you sail, you're depending on the weather, so there's some limitations.
It's gonna be perfect. You're gonna make it.
Yeah.
It's happening.
So I feel very energized actually, and just sharing this. And I think also sharing this here in this space with you, dear friend, dear viewer, adds a different level of almost accountability. Like, I want to make this happen. It's said, it's out there. It's not just me, it's not you and me, it's not, the universe, but it's actual people who see it. So it needs to happen. Let's open this.
I love it.
And
Thank
I
you
think
so
in
much.
this process I'm finding what is my ultimate dream or a lifestyle. It's not the ultimate dream, what does it mean? But the lifestyle I would really like to try, which is to live on a sailboat and create art, go between communities and islands and bring people on the boat, create pods, immersive experiences on the sailboat. Oh my god, that would be beautiful.
I'd
And
love this
yeah.
dream to happen for you.
I can make it, so
You can.
and you can be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
I think it would
for
be
that.
fun for us to go on a boat. I think we will one day. But for now, I need to learn a lot, and to learn sailing, you need to sail, which is great
Exactly.
because I want to
Which
sail.
is what's gonna happen.
So yeah, there's still some doubts, there's still some worries, there's still some fear, but oh well, it is what it is. But I feel very good. Thank you so much for listening to me and asking questions. Like, I feel yeah, it feels, I don't know, like it brings me some kind of reassurance that you love me and you care for me and that I'm still important for you.
Of course you are.
Which, yeah, it's good to feel this. And I know this, but sometimes when I'm in this darkness moments of the soul, I doubt everything. So it feels good. Yeah. So thank you so much for taking this time. I
Thank
hope this
you.
was useful and for you as well.
It was.
Do you have any parting words? Anything you learned or anything that you would like to share to conclude? I'll let you close.
That's it. A kiss for everybody and for you, especially. I feel very inspired and I love this time with you, and I'm very grateful that you just were up for being so vulnerable and sharing all these things, and I feel like there's a lot of value here, and it just makes me so happy to see you with this energy moving through this. So that makes me happy in itself, and I know that it will be helpful for people watching. Thank you for watching, and
Have a wonderful day.
have a wonderful day.